All right, it's 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'll watch the participants window to make sure I'm letting people in, but thank you for joining us in the last session of the day. Hopefully you guys have had a good day and learned some things, some new things that you might be implementing into your schools, or at least things to consider. So I want to welcome Sue and Kayleen from NCCER, who are here to talk to us about their programs and some opportunities for our schools in Ohio. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us. My name is Sue Maggio. I'm with Pearson.
And I'm Kayleen Smith. I'm a Workforce Development Manager at NCCER and used to be a customer and used NCCER before I started working for NCCER. So
thank you for having us. So we're going to go through the slide deck. We're going to minimize our pictures so that we can focus on the slides. Megan will do however you want. If there's questions that come up as we go, otherwise we could do everything at the end, whatever works for everyone.
Okay, sounds good. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat and then we'll ask them at the end unless they seem like there's something pressing.
Super. Thank you.
oh. So a little bit about NCCER. We've started in 1996. We are a nonprofit. We were developed, we always like to say we were developed by industry for industry, but since being developed, our curriculum has expanded into a lot of different areas beside industry. We were developed to provide a standardized way of training and to provide industry recognized credentials. We currently have curriculum for over 40 crafts. And accredited assessment centers and training centers all over the nation. Sue with Pearson is our publishing partner and my partner in crime for NCCER.
Yeah, we always like to clarify the nature of the relationship between the two. They're two separate companies that work as one for this cause.
A little bit more NCCER, while we do have curriculum, our mission as a nonprofit is to get more skilled workforce more skilled workers into the workforce. We have a vision that we want to help fill these jobs, these careers, and we think getting our curriculum out there is the best way to do that. As you can see, our board of trustees, we have a lot of industry support. These are our guiding force. What they do is they help us keep current on what is needed out there, what industry is seeing, so we can make sure we have the most up-to-date curriculum that meets the industry needs. We work with a lot of partners. As you can see, we have a lot of partners that help us provide industry credentials. We have a lot of associations that support us. Lots of different colleges that we work with, different ways to help us get our curriculum out there and make sure it's current and up to date. Where we are a little bit everywhere. Before I started at NCCER, I didn't realize how large the footprint was. I come from a community college background and an association background. So my view was pretty limited on where NCCER's curriculum was. We have a very large presence in the corrections. We're working with workforce boards now. We, again, work in industry. We're working with associations. So you can see we're a little bit everywhere.
And actually in Ohio, we touch every one of these areas. We touch education at different levels, industry with contractors, workforce, a lot of associations, and we work with the Job Corps, the state corrections in the state. So we have a pretty wide footprint within Ohio itself.
And one of the benefits of NCCER is our network.
Yes.
We're able to, connect students with different ways to go, different pathways. I mean, there's so many different pathways you can go. One of the things I talked about was our industry credentials. Our credentials are recognized nationwide. They are all documents that not only demonstrate a student's knowledge, they also do the hands-on portion. All of our curriculum has a hands-on component as well as a knowledge-based component. Again, it's all online, our testing. We have lots of different ways.
So NCCER is the predominant curriculum, and it is used by a lot of the top contractors throughout the country. So on this chart, there's 10 of the top contractors on the ENR list. That's the Engineering News Report. It's kind of the standard in the industry for contractors. And these are the big contractors. So you might look at this chart and see that their home location might be Reston, Virginia, or Omaha, Nebraska, but they're doing sites throughout the entire country. So you'll find Kiewit and Bechtel and DPR and Whiting Turner and Fluor doing things all throughout the country. So you might even be seeing some in your neighborhood. So what I find the value to this slide is that 6 of the top 10 contractors use NCCER, and that speaks volumes. That means they're training their own craft professionals using the same curriculum that's being taught through many of the schools. The whole reason this webinar today was set up, and the challenge with NCCER is to fill the skills gap, the U.S. workforce challenge. And you can read the stats on the slide. It's an aging workforce. We need to fill that pipeline. There is so much construction out there that we need to have the bodies to do it. So, 19% of our skilled workforce are eligible to retire in 5 years. That's big. We need to start filling that pipeline. And one of the best places to start that is within CTE. So this is a slide that just really speaks to the volume of the problem. There's 1.9 million craft professionals needed. And now it's January of 2024. So now we started showing this slide a couple of years ago, and this is on our doorstep now. This kind of gives you a graph, and all the slides are on your website, so you can look at them at your leisure. It basically is telling you the last of the baby boomers turns 25 by 2029. And if you look in the column of the average age for some of these workers, you'll see, there's not a lot of youth here. We need to start bringing that in there. I pulled this up specifically for the state of Ohio, and I've showed this slide before. I typically, we do speak at the Ohio ACTE conference in July, and I always like to pinpoint. So the two columns, the one on the left is nationwide, and the one on the right is Ohio. And basically this is built off of the craft labor market analyzer. So it's looking at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, where the needs are. So you could see, if you looked at all states throughout the country, craft labor, there's over 2 million spots that are needed to be filled. If you look in Ohio, you'll see 68,000. Then you'll see your next biggest need is carpenters. And this is a demand need through December of 2026. Sorry about that. Thought I muted that. Let me go to the next one. So this is the slide really built for you. And Kayleen, feel free to chime in. But this is really how CTE can help with the problem, and how you can get a student into the field working a whole lot quicker when you start them with CTE.
Yeah, this is a slide I use with industry a lot, because they need to partner with education too, because they need these workers to come out faster. And by having these students get the CTE experience in the high schools before they go on the job, it makes that timeline speed up.
Yeah, it advances the amount of training that they need to have. All right, so I'm going to talk about the curriculum. So basically, NCCER is a curriculum and a credential. We always present it as one. To offer your students the credential, you have to use the curriculum. Of course, you can still just use the curriculum, but I always say to everyone, you're more than halfway there by using the material, so you might as well offer the credential. So NCCER has product in over 40 craft areas. I'm with Pearson, the publishing side of the relationship. The way the NCCER books are built is probably the biggest stark contrast to the way everything else in publishing is done. It's put together by subject matter experts. So I always use the example of the fictitious round table, that you have the industry experts, whether they're from industry, from school, and they come together and determine what needs to be taught to meet that need of that skill. All the curricula meets or exceeds the Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship requirement, and it's all competency-based modular format. So I'm just going to highlight some of the recent updates. I will not get into depth on the product. and I'm more than happy to send out digital samples to anyone that wants. These are the titles that are predominantly taught in CTE, so I wanted to put them up on the screen. Electrical, carpentry, HVAC, welding, and plumbing, all recent revisions, so you're starting with new content. Core is the foundation for everything at NCCER. It is the base, and a student would start in core. It basically introduces them to the construction industry, and from there, they then go into their specialty. So you can have a class all starting, say, as sophomores doing core, and then by the next year, they can go into carpentry, electrical, welding, whatever it is that they want. These are the modules included in core. So in NCCER speak, we call our chapters module. It's a modular system. You could teach it in any order. The items that are in blue are all required. So they're getting basic safety. Basically, that's, correct me, that's OSHA 10.
It's very, yeah, it aligns with OSHA 10. You would have to have a certified OSHA instructor to get the OSHA 10 card. We also have a partnership with CareerSafe that you'd be able to do that online for your students.
So you'll see within core, there's a lot of introductory, hand tools, power tools, construction drawings, and then we get into some communication skills and employability. So it really is the foundation for everything. I always start by saying NCCER was born out of industry. It was born out of industry's need to train their own, but it has migrated into education. And as that migration has happened, instructor resources were born. So we do provide in full instructor resource packages, lesson plans, PowerPoints, performance profiles are basically your skills. It's what they need to have. We offer our books in print, in digital. NCCER Connect is our online learning vehicle. So if you're doing hybrid learning or blended learning, or you want extra for your students, they would be able to use NCCER Connect. We have all the competencies, objectives, course maps, suggested equipment list, everything is on the NCCER website. This is just a screenshot of something that's available on NCCER Connect. It's basically built in the Pearson MyLab. So if you have other courses that utilize Pearson, Pearson's big claim is the MyLab. It's our online learning platform. We have just branded it NCCER Connect for name recognition with NCCER. It's the ebook fully loaded into the course, and then you'll have concept checks, media, review. Any work done in NCCER Connect flows into the grade book, and it does work with several LMSs. An example that core is in there. So all the books that I showed you at the beginning are all in NCCER Connect. It is a full course management system. You can weight the grades. You can export that. This is a new feature. NCCER is widely used throughout Ohio in the high schools. And typically core and a level 1 are done, and that's how your point system is broken. So we just created these online courses for NCCER Connect that combine core with a level 1, carpentry, HVAC, plumbing. It's really just for a convenience factor for the teacher, so they will have a single grade book, not have two separate courses. We do have several partnerships. HVAC Excellence is one of them. That's, really that, and AWS and welding are really the most known names. We basically align to their curriculum. Again, the PowerPoints are already uploaded to your website, but anyone that's interested in a digital copy, feel free to do the QR code and we'll be happy to get it to you. Aileen?
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about the accreditation part of NCCER. Ohio has some great people that are willing to sponsor high schools. That is a great option. It's our Associated Builder and Contractor chapters. Again, it's a great way to get industry partnership into the schools at the same time. It's not the only solution, but it is a great solution. And that'd be something, if you reach out to me, that would be, I can hook you up with the correct area or where you need to go to do that. Again, and when you work with ABC, there's a pathway there. There's a pathway into an apprenticeship program with their member contractors. So you not only would get the NCCER credentials, the ABC credential, they have the Ohio Department of Labor and Industry journeyman card that would be earned. Our newest program, though, that we're able to do is to allow a high school to be sponsored directly by NCCER. This is a new program that we just rolled out. There is a fee to do this, but this is a great way if you don't have an associated builders and contractors program near you, or you're just starting out, maybe you want to test the waters. This might be a great way to do it. It gives you a lot of resources, again, a lot of instructor support. We also talked about, we have knowledge-based and we have performance-based. Our knowledge-based testing is done on our online testing system. This is a great resource that NCCER rolled out a few years ago. It allows us to have, multiple test versions in electronic format. One of the things I really like about the online testing is the training prescription that a student can get after they take the test that gives them that immediate feedback on the areas they're weak in. Our instructors like it too, because they can see where, if the same students are missing the same sections, that maybe they need to hit that a little harder in the classroom. So it's a great way to do reporting and get a lot of information out of the testing. We talked about our registry. NCCER has a registry, kind of like a college registry, where a student can have all their training kept in our registry. And they have, if you see the little card on there, the NCCER card, every student gets that after they complete 2 modules. That card has a QR code on the back of it. That student can take that card anywhere in the nation, and someone can scan that and see that student's transcript. So it's a great way for students to, if they're going anywhere to get a job, they can hand that card to their employer and their employer can see what they've done. One of the great things, and anyone can use this part of NCCER, this is our Build Your Future side of the house. This is our career awareness. This is free resources to anybody. We go down to middle school projects in here. It's a great way to get people interested in construction and a great resource for, school counselors, for teachers, for anyone. We'd love to see as many of you get on there and just look around at what there is.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, it is. This shows just the pathways, the options. There are so many different ways someone can get into the construction industry and where they can go from that. Again, on our career awareness, one of the cool things on there that I like is the quiz we have. Your students can get on there and take a quiz and see where their personality lands and what trade it would be. I get Mason every time I take it. I don't know why. Evidently, I should be a Mason. But once they do that and they see what career they're best suited for, they can look at the wages. They can see some of the skills that they'll need in there, some of the job conditions. And if you see these little cards in the picture, those are our trading cards. You can get on there and order trading cards for all the different crafts, and it has all that information on the back of the trading cards.
They're always a hit at every conference. We take a case of them, I think, to Skills USA when we do Skills USA every year, and the kids, and they've recently been updated.
Yeah.
So they're really nice.
Again, here's just some example of our Build Your Future resources. Lots of information on there. I mean, the career day resources are great. I love that if you have students that are looking for scholarships are listed there. I built this video contest. Lots of ways to get interested in. And our Hard Hat Heroes, it's on there. It's not, it's a career awareness, but we give industry credentials to military based on their service. Career Starter is a new feature on our Build Your Future. I kind of think of it as the LinkedIn for construction. We have educators, we have students, and we have employers that have profiles on here. So your students can get on there. They can figure out where they need to go to continue their training with NCCER. They want to go straight into the career, they can look and see who's hiring. And they don't have to go just in Ohio, they can look anywhere. And they can make their own profile.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. We're going to pop ourselves back on camera. Megan, I'm sure you had some questions on there. I saw some chats.
Yeah, I don't actually, there's no questions in the chat. So if anybody has questions, they feel free to just unmute and ask also. I
We
put a link
really,
to the
we
presentation.
really gave, I would say, a 30,000-foot view. And there's a lot more to this, but we didn't want to overload. We knew we also were the last session and everybody's probably tapped out for the day. But Kayleen and I are fully available for anyone, for any questions. Again, I'll mention we're typically at the conference in Ohio. So if there's anything,
I actually live in Indiana, so I'm your neighbor. I work remotely. So again, I always say I can see Ohio from my window. So, because I am in Northeast Indiana, so.
all good. Nothing in the chat no questions, anything?
None. You must have been very thorough.
Oh, that or everybody's very tired. They need
Yeah.
that next cup of coffee.
It's true. It's true.
Well, we are available to everyone. NCCR really is widely used already in Ohio. So if you're thinking about starting the program, we can certainly, work with you. Like we said, we have industry connections, equipment lists. We can help you anything you need. We know a lot of people after a lot of years of doing this.
Yeah, and if you want to talk to somebody about how it works for them,
We can connect you.
just get you some of the best practices that we've seen out there.
Good.
I went ahead and put the 2 links, one for your certificate and one for the feedback form. If everybody please take a chance to do that. Feedback form, we really do use it and adjust what we do from year to year to bring you the best information that you could use. So just keep that in mind if you wouldn't mind doing that feedback.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you for including us. We really do appreciate it. Hi, Beth. Nice to see you. Oh,
Oh, I thought she was going to unmute.
okay. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Oh, hold on just a second. There we go.
All right, we can see everyone there now. Okay, anything else we could do?
So there's one quick question here. It says, you're suggesting to schools with programs that have not emerged into more just beginning woodwork, how to get them to accept the change?
Well, from my experience, again, I worked at Ivy Tech Community College in Indiana, and we sponsored the high schools in Indiana. A lot of the schools that are just getting ready to start and accept the change, I think the support for our instructors is huge. Not only with the benefits of the curriculum, but if you become accredited or working with an accredited sponsor, we have instructor training. We have instructor examples. We have projects, ways to do it. I've seen instructors that build houses and how they build a house and they incorporate NCCER curriculum as they're building that house because they've always done that. They've always built a house. You can incorporate the NCCER curriculum into that at the same time. So again, reach out. I'm happy to try to put you in touch with someone that's done it. That would be a great way for maybe these schools to talk to, one of their peers, someone that's used it, not me, who's just managed the program.
Yeah, a peer-to-peer conversation is always very helpful because they've probably gone down that road and gone through administration and helped out with that. So we can absolutely make those connections. Wherever you are in Ohio, we'll find a regional school that's by you. Someone did ask about a price list. So all the prices are on the catalog. And I think I put the link to the catalog in one of the PowerPoints. So it should be in there. I can grab it though, if you want, and I'll put it in the chat. Is there anything else we needed to address? Catalog. Just put that right in.
I think you got all the questions.
Yeah. Go to
I'll just add one little thing since we've got a bit of time is I mentioned the instructor support. All of our instructors that work for accredited are certified by NCCER. We have 2 different pathways. One for instructors that are coming as journey level worker coming straight out of the field and one for certified educators. So we're not going to teach someone who's went to school to learn how to teach, but we're going to support them with the NCCER resources. Where that person coming out of the field, we're going to give them some more teaching skills. We're going to help them learn how to manage classrooms. So that's something that makes them feel more confident when they step into the role.
Right. Someone asked about advisory council. Let me click on the chat. We could always provide a slide deck and we can do a presentation, absolutely, for an advisory committee. Yep. We can absolutely set up a webinar for that. Yes. All right. Is there anything else in here? Schools with programs that have not emerged. Okay. Testing platform have been. Okay. Yeah. I want to connect with you.
Yeah, the testing platform has been difficult to navigate. Again, I would love to work with you on that. One of the things I do is do walkthroughs and help and best practices on all that. That's part of my job as a workforce development manager. I'm a point of support in any way I can. Usually it's just a few things to show you how it's easier and what we can do. And we recently did a lot of updates in July, had some snafus, not going to lie, but it's working better now. We've got it rolling. So again, reach out to me. I'm happy to do a little walkthrough one-on-one or with your instructors if that's what you need.
And whoever's working with their advisory committee, feel free to reach out to Kayleen and I, because we can absolutely help you out with that. Yes, Beth.
So my question is, before everything became electronic, some of our students didn't receive the NCCER card.
Mm-hmm.
How do we help them get their card?
So we have to make sure that.
Yeah. Reach out to me, Beth.
Okay.
And you and I can work on that. What I'd need is their name and their NCCR card number, and we can see what happened and if it ever got printed or that. We have changed that process too, so it's much better now. And we have a lot of print on demand now. So it's allowing our schools to print all their own certificates, so they don't have to wait for NCCER to mail them, because that kind of was a problem when graduation was coming and you wanted to get those before the end of the year. And of course, everybody in the nation wanted their certificates at the same time. So this is allowing our organizations to print on demand, and it's allowing the students to have those cards mailed directly to the address they provide, which keeps them from getting lost. They got sent to the wrong office, at a school, or they got sent to the sponsor
Or
who
they
never
went to the
got them
sponsor, right?
to
That
the
was another
school.
issue.
So I can help you with that. That's one thing I can do.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I think we covered everything. Is there anything else? Megan, do you see anything that we're missing? Any other questions?
I don't see any others.
Yeah, it looks like, so you'll talk to that. Okay, so you'll take care of that. We worked on the advisory committee, curriculum prices in the catalog. That's it. I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks, ladies.
Thank
Enjoy
you
your
all.
conference.
Thanks for making the time for us. We appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day.